All right, so we're back. We're going to do our fun segments with Jubal Lee, and so I just do like a bunch of little fun segments that we use for like TikToks and shorts and things.
Sure.
And so these are kind of quicker than kind of the in-depth stuff we've been talking about. So I think you'll enjoy these. The first one is called "Did You Know?" So can you tell folks something they may not know about you?
Ah, they may not know. The reason I took 10 years off my career was because I am a single parent.
Okay.
And I got custody of my daughter while I was living in Muskogee, so in small town Oklahoma. So I'm not gonna sit here and say that speaks to her mother's character. It certainly, I will say that it speaks to mine.
Love it. Love it. All right, next one's called Mount Rushmore. By the way, I was also a single dad, so I'm there with you.
All right,
Yep,
yes, sir.
raised three kids from 2010 until all three were grown. So I
Right.
think I was my oldest was 15, my middle was 12, and my youngest was 11 when I got custody. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm right there with you. I understand. Anyway, next one's called Mount Rushmore. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of songwriting?
Wow. Okay. I have some weird ones, but I mean, I got to put my dad. I mean, really, I really like his writing. I think there's a philosophical and spiritual bent to it that is just exquisite for me. And it may just be that I'm his son and vibrationally I'm just attuned to it or something, but he's definitely up there for me. And I think oddly, some Roger Waters has been a huge influence. The
Mm,
Pink Floyd guy, you
yeah.
know what I mean? Like just his writing. Just if you just take his words and ignore some of his antics if they piss you off or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to meet him. Like they say, don't meet your heroes. I do not want to meet Roger Waters, but I love his songwriting. Are we going for four, like the real
Four.
thing?
Yep. Yep.
Four, okay. I mean, Dylan. There's no question that Robert Zimmerman has been a huge influence on me,
Yeah.
100%. And then I'm trying to like be real here.
This is when it gets tough, by the way.
I mean, probably somebody like Woody Guthrie, honestly.
That.
That fiery sort of like I'm gonna speak truth to power thing.
Yep.
Uh, it comes from somebody like that. An honorable mention, have to be, of course, Cohen and Prine and some of the usual suspects. So
Yeah.
Neil Young.
There's a million
Uh,
of them, man. You can go forever.
yeah,
That's what makes that question tough. All right, my next
yeah.
segment is called "What the Heck." This is rapid fire, 5 questions. Just give me the first
Okay.
thing that enters your brain. Number
Uh,
one, if you wrote a book, what would it be about?
uh, it's probably my life.
Okay. Number two, what is no big deal for most people, but absolute torture for you?
I have misophonia, so open mouth chewing of crunchy things drives me up a
All
wall.
right. Number three, let me see here. If you were a crayon, what color would you be and why?
Periwinkle. I don't know why. It's just a nice color.
It's just the way you like the way it sounds. That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Be
It's a nice
honest.
sort of. Is it blue? Is it purple? We don't know. It's periwinkle,
All right,
man.
number four. I love that, man. I do love that color too. So we're right there. I love that. All right, number. I always thought that was a snail when I was a kid. By the way, like, isn't there like a snail that has a similar name to that? I think.
I don't. I don't know
I'm
that
gonna
one.
have to look that up now. All right, number four. Let me see. What do you think you have a? What world record do you think you have a shot at breaking?
Ooh. Uh, the greatest profanity laden
Fine.
thing strung together ever in a fit of road rage.
I love it. All right, so you just
I
led me. I'm going to choose this one for number five now. What is your best curse word alternative?
ah
This is a guy that
Jeez.
has a song with the word dickhead in it, by the way, guys.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe
I
he
mean,
doesn't
I
have alternatives to his curse words.
I I don't. We were working on some radio edits for squirrels, and we just quit. Like this is what they are. You
It ain't
pick
going to
your own
radio,
edits.
y'all.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's happening.
Um.
All right.
Man, I don't know. Jeez, I don't.
Jeez. All right.
Jeez.
All right. We'll go with
I say
G's.
that
All
actually.
right. My wife's name is Louise, so
Okay, yeah. There you go.
I always say,
My,
"Geez, you."
yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't have the same
yeah.
alliterativeness, by the way.
No,
Not at
no,
all.
doesn't.
All right. Next one's called One Artist. Who is one artist you wish the whole world knew about?
Again, I hate to be like a broken record, but Steve Young. Yes, there are hip people that know who he is, but there's a lot of people in this world that could stand some more Steve Young that don't
Yeah.
know him.
And I would
You know?
implore people, get out onto the YouTube and find Steve Young's version of Seven Bridges Road. It
Yeah,
is, my God, it is a much different experience than listening
yeah,
to the Eagles version. I'm just saying, and I'm not just saying
yeah,
that because of who you are, but legitimately,
yeah. No, I
like
get
I
it.
listened to the song like 4 times last night on repeat. It's just a
Yeah.
different thing. Next one's called Fly on the Wall. This is kind of a new segment I'm doing. Which rooms would you like to be a fly on the wall in? Something that happened in history. Like if you could be a fly in the wall, on the wall,
Hmm.
what would you choose?
Huh. Man, that's tough because I'm a little bit of kind of a history buff. I actually like history. Like I took
Mm-hmm.
extra histories as electives in high school and shit because I'm nuts. But um, man, yeah, that's tough. Like maybe maybe I would like to be in the room where it happened uh for the Hamilton decision. What they're talking about in the Hamilton play, where they had the three people meet and decide who was going to be president or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever. I don't remember the thing, but I could say all the stuff. I mean, there's so many various periods and places and people and maybe Genghis Khan's funeral,
That'd be
maybe
cool,
it'd be a good
man. I
one.
was thinking just from based on your answer, I would have loved to have been in the area when the Hamilton Burr duel went down. Man, that would have
Yeah,
been like holy
sure.
crap. Can you imagine what that was like? Like how much screaming and shit was going on from everybody around.
Yeah. I mean, they weren't, sure.
Yeah. All right. Next
It was
one's called
mostly,
biggest
yeah,
lesson. What is the biggest lesson you think you've learned directly from music?
don't quit. And, don't people please with it. Like, if you have a vision and you have a thing to say and you have something, you know, that you need to do musically, just do it and keep doing it and don't let people talk you out of it or tell you it's never going to work or it's a stupid idea. The industry is full of success stories from people who just shut those voices out and went and did it. And
Mm-hmm.
it might take forever. I mean, some of it depends on you. Me, for example, I've been a late bloomer and a slow learner. And in some ways, I mean, I'm just now getting to a point where I'm even capable of maybe doing some of the stuff it takes to find success in the music business, really, I've also at just the right age, born in 71, so that right about the time I got old enough to maybe become a part of the music industry, it started shifting in that all the labels then after Hootie and the Blowfish sold 20,000 copies of their self-made record, they wanted you to do that before they would talk to you. Well, I couldn't afford to make a record. So that was never going to happen. And then shortly after that, of course, Napster happened.
Mm-hmm.
And then it all just turned into streaming. So I mean, it's like the industry has changed at every turn that I've come up, and it's just doing it again. And this time though, I don't know. I don't know. It's less different than it was the last time I was in it, and I do get more of the concept still. And back to that whole support thing. I mean, I hate the way it happened, but what has happened is that like my all my grandparents and both my parents passed away in the last 10 years. So I have all the stuff and the money, and I can afford to support myself like with basically kind of a basic income while I do music.
Right.
And if I'd had that 35 years ago, I feel confident I probably could have, actually done something with this
Right.
then. But, on the other hand, things happen the way they happen.
Yeah, I was
I,
gonna say
I've had
things
to,
work
I've
the way
had
they're
to,
supposed to most of the time, right?
I've had to learn and grow and become. I might have been some kind of, you know, egomaniac asshole if I'd have made it at 18,
Yeah.
or dead at 22 from drugs or
Right.
whatever. You know what I mean? So I'm glad to still be here, and if it took me a minute to get here, so be it. You know
Yep.
what I mean? I feel like I got a lot of life and music in me to make. So
I love that.
why
You're
not?
leading me right into the next segment, which is called Moment of Gravity. Can you look back in
Mm.
your life and kind of pick out that event or moment in your life that kind of led you to where you are today?
You know, I think. I think I was a little bit of a hopeless romantic, and it took two marriages uh, to make me realize that you've got to be complete alone, and I don't know. I think I'm I put less stock in love and romance anymore, and you know there's other things to do at this point.
Yeah.
And um, I think a lot of times I always tell people my picker's broke, and it's chronically broke for most of my life. No offense to anybody, I'm still friends with a lot of them, but we just weren't going to work on some levels, and there's some I'm not friends with anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly the ones I actually married. But so I think music is something that will attract people to you, and then sometimes they'll get real jealous of it, and it will cause problems. And so I think you have to be really careful, like who you partner with.
Mm-hmm.
And if this is something you're really serious about doing and keeping a part of your life, then they have to understand that too
Mm-hmm.
and be okay with that. And it does take sacrifice sometimes, especially to get somewhere. I mean, there's a lot of breaking even and even losses in the early days, a lot of times while you're building something up. And sometimes it just stays that way
Yep.
too, you
I
know?
got you. All right, next one's called Grateful. What do you think? What are the three things you are most grateful for?
Um, I think in a lot of ways, my daughter and that relationship is special, and I'm very grateful that I chose, to honor that and do that instead of being a typical, egomaniacal musician douchebag and like, here, you raise the kid, I'm going on the road. And
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for that. I am grateful for that freedom and then artistic freedom, and as we talked about. And I mean, there are certainly times where I've been resentful that I have not had the help that I feel like I have deserved at different points in the music business from the music industry.
Mm-hmm.
But I own everything. You know what I mean? I didn't sign a publishing deal at 20 where somebody's got me by the balls till I'm 79.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't sign any record deals where, they just ran a big bill up on me and then dropped me, and I never made a dime and nobody else would touch me. I've maintained an aloof thing with the industry that I'm kind of actually grateful for. Um, And three, I don't health. I mean, come on, especially when you
Yeah.
get over 50, man. I mean, all the memes are true. The check engine lights all
You
come
ain't
on. It's like,
bullshitting, man. Oh my god.
uh,
Ugh.
and relatively, by some miracle, I'm in pretty good shape at this point, as far as I know.
I'm trying to get there myself, man. I just started door dashing for extra money, and I'm learning what kind of
Yeah.
shape I'm in just by, it's like, oh no, not another second floor apartment building. God
I know.
dang it. But
I
yeah.
know it.
All right, last segment I have is called Who Do You
Yeah.
Think You Are? Who
Hmm.
is Jubal Lee Young?
I am. I think. I don't know. I'm somebody that I think tries very hard to uh, deflate my own ego. And I learned that some from my dad, who's very into things like Zen Buddhism and who was a sober person and all that. And he started a lot of ways this sort of family tradition of the journey of healing and recovery and stuff. And I feel like I have I have continued that. I think my mother and grandmother both had some like food issues, eating disorder kind of stuff. My father, a lot of his father, my mother's biological father, all had alcohol issues, and I feel like one of the things that I have been grateful for has been that awareness and the generational curses, and I have managed by some miracle to raise a very healthy human being as my own kid, and we've managed to break a lot of these cycles, I think,
Yep.
finally,
And I feel
and
like
that's wonderful.
I feel like I'm in the same boat, right? Like I think a lot of people are that way. You can kind of recognize what your folks before you have done and what their vices
Yeah.
were, their weaknesses were, and so as a product of that, we can choose to either fall in line and do the same thing. And I feel like that's a very weak thing to do. Or you
Yeah.
can recognize those vices and weaknesses for what they are, and that's the toxic behavior, and
Yeah.
whatever happens in your life, rebel against that and do better, right? Because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, I imagine most people on the planet want better for their kids than what they had. So you have to
You
be
would
willing to
hope.
fight for that, right?